Good morning. How are you today? It's Thursday, November the 29th in beautiful Brisbane, Australia. Let me know how you're going, where you're tuning in from, what's happening for you today, how you're feeling. Is everything coming together for you, or do you still have questions? My name's Linda. I'm a trauma and recovery coach, and I love living in beautiful Brisbane, Australia, but my goal is to live and work in America. We need to have these dreams. It's always something that we're working towards. And over the years of my life, I've always been putting the pieces of the puzzle of my life together. So I wanted to share with you today how important it is to pursue what's happening on the inside of us as well. A lot of the times people can look around them and say, well, I can see this is what's happening. Just think about how people talk. When they're talking about other people, they're always observing what's happening for other people. But the bigger question really is, what's happening for me on the inside as a person? What's happening on the inside that I'm not observing that's creating my world around me? I had a very, very long journey in this area about what's happening on the inside that's creating my world around me. And I want to share a little bit of it with you today to inspire you that when you don't have language around what's happening for you, so our brain needs language in order that it can logically understand what's happening for us, what's happening for our body, what's happening for us personally. So we've got to pursue language. Now, all the language around complex PTSD is still filtering out into the world as we speak. But for me personally, I kept pursuing to unlock the various factors of the inside of me. So over the years, I learnt about the dysfunction in the family, the different roles in the family, my role in the family, and more. There was just so much more that I learnt and I pursued. But one year, I actually went to a psychologist and I said, look, I'm happy within me, but there's still one part of the puzzle that I haven't been able to put together. Now, I want you to think about your life and think, okay, if there was one area of my life that I haven't put the pieces of the puzzle together, what would it be? And as you do that, you begin to make a note. So if you've got a notebook and pen, that'd be really good, because as we go through this morning, I want us to be able to pose questions together about what's happening for us and what are the pieces that I'm trying to bring together for me to have answers for as well. So I went to this psychologist and I said, look, I know who I am. I know what's happening in my life. I know where I'm going. I'm happy within me. But there's something still missing. There's some part of the puzzle of me that I haven't put together. And I said, I don't even have questions for it because I don't know what it is. I just am aware in my heart that I want answers that I don't have questions for. So that'll be one of your first questions really, is do I not have questions in order that I can find answers? Now, this is why when we're going through really tough times in life, we sit down and talk with somebody, preferably somebody who doesn't know us, because somebody who knows us can be biased about what they're going to say to us. So biased from the perspective that they know us and biased from the perspective of how what's happening in your life is affecting them. So that's why I chose to go and see somebody who didn't know me, because I love my friends absolutely and I trust them implicitly, but they know me. And I needed to know something about me that they wouldn't be able to help with, and I needed an outside view. So even when you're going through mental health challenges, we need that outside viewpoint in order that they can even ask us questions that we don't know how to frame yet. Okay? And then often in our day-to-day life, there are things that we can't see. But when somebody outside of us asks us questions, we go, I'll think about that. And then as our logical part of our brain begins to put pieces together, it's like a puzzle. So as we put pieces together and, imagine you're doing a jigsaw puzzle and you're picking up pieces and you're going, well, where does this fit? Okay. And as you find where it fits or it doesn't fit, you pick it up, move it somewhere else. That's what the inside of us can be like, is this picture puzzle where we pick pieces up, we examine it and we go, where does that fit? Does it fit over here? No, that doesn't feel right. Does it fit here? Oh, yeah. And that even looks right in the bigger picture of my life. Okay? So we need to have somebody who's willing to sit with us and ask questions that we don't even know how to ask ourselves. All right? It is vital to have that other party who's not got a personal, it's not an agenda, but a personal viewpoint that could influence them, or even personal wounds that influence them about what they're going to say to us. Okay? Now, that works in that, just say you're going through one of life's bumps, okay? Just say the life's bump is a relationship or even a work problem. If you ask somebody for an opinion about what's going on, they're going to filter it through their own wounds, so their own pain. Sorry about that. So she gave me input around various areas of my life, and then about, 6 months down the road, all of a sudden all the pieces came together for me. And I was sitting in bed one night mulling it over, because I journal every night, and all of a sudden I realised that I had Asperger's, and I went, okay, I'll get up and go online and do a test. So I got up online and did a test, and it said, you really should go and see a specialist. So I went, okay. So, I was due in a week or two for the specialist. So I went and saw the specialist, and she said, really? And she said, look, I'll give you the test and let's see how you go. So I took the test away, did it, came back, and she was marking it, and I'm just waiting because I'm like, oh my goodness, it's just going to feel like all the pieces of a big puzzle of my life come together. And as she marked it and finished, she just looked at me and she said, I would never, ever, ever have guessed of you. She said, you rank so high on this that there is no doubt. And I went, yeah, I know. So when we live with things that are different about us, sometimes we've just got to go and get that outside help in order that we can put pieces of the puzzle together, okay? When I got the diagnosis, it was like tears streamed down my face from relief. It was like so many pieces of my life came together, and the more I read about it, the more I understood it. The more I understood why I never worked it out, because there was no language. There was no language around women on the spectrum. There was no language for me to say, look, I'm sorry I can't come today because this is what's happening for me internally, and I need to address that first. It gave me language to be able to say to people, look, please don't hug me. It's not something I can do. And then working out that it's okay if you're gentle with me and touch me gently, but anyone who touches me with any degree of firmness, like, people who bear hug, I can't do it. It just sends my senses off. It's the input into me is just too much. Okay? I was sitting here talking about it yesterday with my daughter, and she's going through the book because, of course, I thought I was neurotypical. And so therefore I thought but as I worked out that I was on the spectrum, it became obvious she was too. And when I got a book about it and showed her, she was like, no, that's not me. She had to go and live overseas, not amongst neurodiverse people and neurotypical people, sorry. Oh, my language this morning's all over the place. And when she did, she could see how different she was. And see, that's the thing, in our own home, amongst our own family, amongst our own friends, who we are just becomes the norm. And it's not until we sit down and take a really healthy look about what's happening internally within us that we begin to discover new worlds within us, new sides to ourselves, honesty, freedom, love, truth, peace, joy. There's a whole world internally. And now my daughter, we sit and we laugh, and she loves bear hugs. She loves being touched really firmly. She hates light touches. She just can't comprehend. It just doesn't sit with her at all. And because I like being touched so gently, I touch her gently and it just sends her off. It's just like too much. And we sit and laugh about it now. But these might sound like when you're wired like us, when your brain is wired like us, it makes so much difference in the world. We have to be willing to embrace that difference. With our mental health challenges, we have to be willing to do the internal work. When we have work challenges, we've got to be willing to do the internal work and not point our finger at everybody else. When we have relationship bumps, we've got to be willing to do the internal work, not point our finger at everybody else. When we go through grief, we have to be able to sit with other people who just want to sit with us. We've got to process the grief. We've got to give ourselves the opportunity to process our emotions. When we walk through life, we can see people who don't process emotions. We can read it on their face. There's no joy. It is so much more pleasant to walk through life and share life with other people when we can understand ourselves. It's easier to put boundaries in place for ourselves. Boundaries are for ourselves, they're not for other people, okay? When we understand ourselves and what we need at this point in time, okay? I hope that's given you some information that makes you want to go away and begin to put all the puzzle pieces of who you are and why you're here together. Okay, because the journey is worth every single step that we take. I love you all. Thanks for tuning in. If you're here for the replay, do a hashtag, say g'day, and thanks for joining in. And I love to hear your opinion about what you think about this. What do you think about putting all your internal blessings and dreams, and bye for now, and I will see you tomorrow.